This evening, first, the construction worker is remanded to prison after a horrifying attempt to murder his 1-year-old stepson. We'll bring you the disturbing details of the attack and the court proceedings that followed. Next, President Irfan Ali announces major improvements for fisher folks in Mon Repos, including a new access road and ramp. Learn about the upcoming projects aimed at enhancing their working conditions and livelihood. Then, the Tourism and Hospitality Association launches exciting new programs to inspire school kids to explore careers in tourism. Find out how these initiatives aim to shape the future of the industry. Also, despite 94% of HIV-positive individuals in Guyana knowing their status, only 72% are receiving treatment. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, addresses the stigma and challenges hindering treatment access and outlines steps to improve support. And finally, relentless rains trigger flooding and landslides in the Philippines as Typhoon Gami intensifies the seasonal monsoon. We'll have the latest updates on this natural disaster affecting the region and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 25th, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Sean Davison, a 24-year-old construction worker from Northeast Squatting Area, Georgetown, has been remanded to prison for attempting to murder his 1-year-old stepson, Sidon De Freitas. Appearing before Principal Magistrate Faith Augusti, Davison faced charges of unlawfully wounding the child with intent to murder him on July 17, 2024. According to police reports, Davison threatened to kill the child if his father did not come to collect him. When the father didn't come, Davison set the baby's pants on fire and used a mop stick to choke the child, causing severe burns and injuries. The child's mother, fearing for her life, did not initially report the incident. Public-spirited individuals eventually brought the mother and the child to the police on July 19th, and the baby was admitted to the Georgetown Public Hospital in critical condition. Davison was arrested and charged on July 20th. During court proceedings, Davison denied allegations, claiming the child's injuries were accidental. However, prosecutor Quincy Lacon highlighted video evidence of the assault and the child's critical condition, leading to Davison being denied bail. Davison also faces charges for an armed robbery on July 19, where he allegedly held a gun to a 4-year-old girl's head to rob her mother. He pleaded not guilty but was also remanded for this charge. A fight broke out at the court compound between the relatives and public-spirited persons who protested for Davison to face the full extent of the law. Davison is scheduled to return to court on August 14, 2024. And on a different note, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali announced plans to enhance working conditions for around 500 fisher folks in Mon Repos, East Coast Demerara. In a meeting with the local community, President Ali addressed several key issues and outlined upcoming projects. An access road construction project will begin next week, fulfilling a previous commitment. Additionally, a ramp will be built to assist fishermen in bringing their catch ashore, and the waterway will be dredged to solve shallow water problems. President Ali assured the community that efforts are already underway to address other concerns, with the Ministries of Agriculture and Public Works providing the necessary resources. He also acknowledged the lack of land transport for householders and revealed that the Ministry of Housing and Water is working on providing transport for residents. President Ali aimed to resolve legal hurdles swiftly by issuing land ownership documents to residents by the end of August. Following Mon Repos engagement, he toured Georgetown, engaging with citizens, reaffirming his commitment to addressing their concerns. On a different note, the government of Guyana has announced that it has withdrawn $300 million from the Natural Resource Fund as part of its planned use of the country's oil revenue. This transfer, made on July 22, 2024, is the third significant withdrawal of the year. With this latest withdrawal, the total amount drawn from the NRF in 2024 has reached a substantial $850 million. As approved by Parliament, the government is allowed to withdraw close to $1.6 billion from the fund in 2024. The Natural Resource Fund is used to manage the country's oil wealth, and these withdrawals are intended to support various national expenses and development projects. Stick around when we return Guyana Prison Service partners with the Housing Authority for inmate rehabilitation, and HIV awareness is high, but the treatment gap remains in Guyana.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Speak clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. The Guyana Prison Service has signed a new agreement with the Central Housing and Planning Authority to produce 500,000 concrete blocks using inmate labor. This initiative is part of the Community-Based Employment Stimulation Project and aims to provide prisoners with job skills and income to support their families. Minister of Home Affairs Robertson Ben highlighted the project's potential to transform prisoners' rehabilitation by integrating modern technology and practices. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell praised the initiative for addressing prison reform and expanded self-sustaining activities. Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, commended the project as an innovative approach to using government programs for prison reform and economic stimulation. The concrete blocks will initially be used for construction in Silica City, with plans to extend production to other prisons. Meanwhile, Director of Prisons, Nicolon Elliott, emphasized the project's benefit for inmates, including earning money and supporting their families while incarcerated. The CHMP's projects department will oversee quality control to ensure high standards. In other news, in Guyana, 94% of people with HIV know they have the virus, but only 72% of them are receiving treatment. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, said more efforts are needed to address this issue, particularly among high-risk groups. During a forum on HIV, he he highlighted the need for more discussions to find better ways to support those affected. He noted that antiretroviral therapy is free and helps manage HIV. Nevertheless, many avoid it due to stigma and discrimination. The minister mentioned that primary healthcare workers are being trained to provide HIV care at any health center, with complex cases referred to specialized clinics. In the Caribbean, HIV rates are higher among certain groups, such as transgender people and men who have sex with men. Moving on, the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana, TAG, is launching new initiatives to get school kids more interested in tourism and help them explore career opportunities. The association plans to work directly with schools through the Adopt a School program, where they will collaborate with schools to teach students about tourism and how they can get involved. They are also introducing the SWIFT program, which will partner with the Ministry of Education to provide practical experience for students studying tourism subjects. The goal is to inspire students to pursue tourism further, including at the University of Guyana. The program will also include internship to give students a real feel of the tourism industry. Don't go away after the break. Bangladesh curfews, internet blackout, battery economy amid quota protests, and ICC Israeli arrest warrants, UK, Germany, and US trying to block procedure.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. A 54-year-old businesswoman, Sandra Roberts, was shot and killed in St. Kitts last night, increasing the island's homicide count for the year to 20. Roberts was ambushed by two masked gunmen near her New Road home and died at the scene. Opposition leader Mark Brantley expressed condolences and urged public cooperation with police. 4 men have been arrested in connection with the murder. Authorities are seeking additional information from the public via the Violent Crime Unit and Crime Hotline. Internationally, during a nationwide curfew, and with the army on the streets, an unlikely group of people gathered at Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's office with demands, not student protesters who have been seeking an end to job quotas, but industry leaders, Al Jazeera's Tanveer Chowdhury reports.
The protest and street violence may have ended for now, but police in Bangladesh are arresting more student protesters and opposition members. On Monday, student leaders made some new demands.
Ensure security on all campuses and release all our students. I came here taking a great risk and I'm afraid. There are members of intelligence agencies everywhere following us. Once the media leaves, perhaps I could be even missing. A civilized and independent nation cannot run like this.
The US State Department, the United Nations, the European Union, and several international rights bodies have condemned the recent violence and called for an investigation. The initial protests were against a government job quota system, but after the crackdown that followed, killed nearly 200 people and injured thousands more. Many are now demanding accountability. The capital city, Dhaka, remains calm but tense after days of student protest and clash with heavy presence of security forces. Stories of personal tragedies are also slowly starting to emerge.
A detective team picked me up, blindfolded me, and then later took me to a room in a building and interrogated me about the student protests and their strategies. They also mentally and physically tortured me until I became senseless.
Last Saturday, 25-year-old college student Mominul Islam, who, according to his family, was not involved in any protest, was caught in the middle and shot in the chest by police in the Mirpur area of Dhaka.
I am a poor person and lost my only son to bullets. I hope no family goes through this.
It's now not enough. Just accept our quota demand. Those who were killed, how they were killed, and why they were killed must be accounted for first, and the government must answer this.
The government blames the opposition and its allies for orchestrating the recent violence. Many government and public properties were burned and damaged, including Metro Rail and Bangladesh State Television Center.
Today, as per the call of duty, the police force has stood up to protect the life and security of the people, government and public properties. Instead, what we saw is that the police forces themselves came under brutal attack.
Many are calling on the government to hold an investigation and provide justice to the families of those who have been killed. Tanveer Chowdhury, Al Jazeera, Dhaka.
Meanwhile, relentless rain drenched the northern Philippines, triggering flooding in the capital Manila and landslides in mountainous regions as Typhoon Gemi intensifies the seasonal monsoon, Al Jazeera's Barnaby Lowe reports.
A dramatic rescue in the middle of a storm. With flood waters rising fast in this Manila suburb, there was no time to move this woman to a hospital. Emergency workers had to deliver the baby before taking them to safety. Meanwhile, many neighbors were left with no choice but to swim against the current, because the alternative would have been to drown.
We tied a rope to a tree on one end and to a post on the other end. We used it for support while we swam against the raging floodwaters.
Typhoon Gemi skirted the Philippines but intensified the southwest monsoon, generating heavy downpours that lasted hours, inundating the capital Manila.
It's been days of on and off rains here in the Philippine capital Manila as well as in other parts of the country. But overnight from Tuesday and all throughout Wednesday, it's just been brutal. The rains have been incessant, they have been relentless. And you can see over there, that car is already drowning in flood water. And residents in this area say that the floodwaters are even higher in their community, which is over on that street, inside on that street from where you see that white building over there.
An evacuation center nearby, they say, would help, especially since it's not their first time to experience flooding of this scale.
We've been here since dawn, waiting for the floodwaters to subside.
It could be a long wait, however. More monsoon rain is in the forecast, even as a typhoon moves away from the Philippines. Authorities here hope their efforts will limit deaths, even as the trauma could linger. for those who narrowly escaped death. Barnaby Lowe, Al Jazeera, Manila.
Finally, dozens of countries and organizations are trying to delay the International Criminal Court from issuing an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The court's prosecutor has requested warrants for Netanyahu, his defense minister, and Hamas leaders for alleged war crimes in Gaza. Al Jazeera's Steph Vasson reports.
Never before in the history of the International Criminal Court have so many countries tried to prevent arrest warrants for people suspected of war crimes. More than 2 months after prosecutor Karim Khan requested arrest warrants for the Israeli leader, his defense minister Yoav Gallant, and 3 Hamas leaders, the UK, Germany, the US and others are trying to stop or delay them. Other countries, including Norway, Spain, South Africa, have intervened in favor of the case. The court says it won't be swayed by political pressure.
So I think that there is a record, there is a history that shows that whether people are condemning, welcoming, sanctioning or not, the ICC system has always fulfilled this idea of protecting the judicial process from any kind of pressure.
But that was before the ICC was prosecuting Israeli leaders.
As I said, there was sanctions against the ICC prosecutor, yet that did not prevent her from moving ahead with what she believed is the application of the law.
Some reports had suggested issuing an arrest warrant against Netanyahu, who is visiting Washington, was imminent. But arguments by Germany and the UK that the court has no jurisdiction to prosecute Israeli leaders will now delay this, an argument this international law expert calls tenuous.
Removing Israelis from Palestinian jurisdiction would allow Israelis to commit, for example, war crimes, crimes against humanity, with, in a way, impunity, because they could not be prosecuted either by the Palestinians nor by the International Criminal Court, and it would all rest with the Israeli judiciary.
He believes the arrest warrants will be issued only a few months later than expected. In comparison, the arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin was issued in a month. Not a single country intervened. A former assistant to the ICC prosecutor says the decision to allow 64 interventions shows how politically sensitive the case is.
Although there was no legal merit on the substance for the UK submission, the pretrial chamber took it seriously, entertained it, and is going to delay the process of about, I don't know how many months. Law buys time to those who have power.
The ICC has long been accused of being a colonial court, often only focusing on African war criminals. But with the case against Netanyahu, prosecutor Khan hopes to send a message that nobody is above the law. But looking at the countries and organizations defending the Israeli leader, this message seems to be ignored by his traditional backers. Steph Vasson, Al Jazeera, The Hague.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 30 weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 5:30 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.